So I started smoking like when I started smoking back. It was back. Let me think. Must have been 1990. Cigarettes were $2.25. To fill up my parents drove a van, and for me to fill up that van, it cost $10 back then, 1990. But yeah, and we would go to this little store. I would go to my little junior high. I went to Oneida Middle School, and we'd go there, and they would sell these 1970s T-shirt decals that you could iron on, like Charlie's Angels, which was well out of style by that time. Original Star Wars shits, and it was just this old. It was called Danny's Confectionery, and you could, my mom used to give me $2.50 a day for lunch because that's how much lunch costed. But I would get cigarettes, and you'd go in. And you had the standards of most kids smoked Marlboros. I smoked Camels. But I started out smoking Dejarums, the clove cigarettes from the Indian one. They were these Indian cigarettes that are clove cigarettes, and they were dipped in honey. And they were the shape of a bat. They had no filter, and they would pop and burn when you smoked them. They came in a brown pack, and you could see that the paper was all spotted in honey. You could see the honey spots, and when you'd smoke it and take it off your lips, you could taste honey. They didn't have any filters back then. They were called Dejarums. I taught my sister how to inhale on a Dejarum. But around this time, they started marketing shit for my generation. And they started doing Camel Cash. The backs of the packs of cigarettes came with monies that you could buy to get merchandise or paraphernalia associated with Camel. You can get a backpack. You can get a jacket maybe. They used to sell cars if you had enough Camel Cash. Then they started doing it with Marlboro. My father smoked Marlboro soft pack his whole life. That was his thing. He claimed you can get 2 more drags out of it or something like that. I think it's from Vietnam. I found out towards the time he died, he said that he smoked Marlboro soft pack because that's the only thing that was left after he got back from KP or whatever he was doing in the army. And so he smoked Marlboro. I smoked Camel. I smoked Marlboro too because my father did, and when I run out, he'd have them. But in my father, and so they started doing cash for Marlboro Miles, they called it back then. And he was able to get himself a thermos. He loved his fucking thermos, because he was like me. He liked to drink drinks out of big containers with ice. He was very thirsty, just like I am. And he loved and he was even able to get he had a mail bag that he'd take to work every day, a big sports McGregor style leather bag. Oh, I miss my father. I just thought about him. And he was able to get a Marlboro one. So he was just so stoked about that. He was so proud of his fucking Marlboro thermos. He used it all my life. And his Marlboro bag. And it was I could still see the thermos in my mind. It was this big red thermos like this that was red. It had the inverted V and it said Marlboro on it. He loved that. He'd pour his Pepsi in it. And that's what he would do. Because he drank a lot of soda like me. But they started so they started marketing shit for like my generation to do that. I wasn't able to save up for anything. But they'd have these cartoon camels on the back. Joe Cool, his name was, the camel. And it was from generation X, which I am, Gen X. And now they're doing it for the millennials, which is kind of cool too, but the millennials got it much cooler. There's no longer light cigarettes. There's only blue. So if you want a light, I don't know when I think it happened a year ago. So if you want a light cigarette, you got to ask for Camel Blue. And it's like, what the fuck is a Camel Blue? But that's how it goes. You want a Marlboro Light now, you got to ask for Special Select or something. The best cigarette Marlboro makes is the Southern Cut. But anyway, So eventually, Dejarum, I was at the gas station, and they sell Dejarum blacks now, black and rubies. They smell wonderful. They smell like cloves. They smell like nothing you should be smoking. This is what I first started smoking when I was a kid. They had no filters, though. But this is what they look like. These are clove cigarettes, black and ruby. The filters, this pack is old. The filters have gone. But I'm going to, so I go to the store today, and I see a pack of Camel or Marlboro Blacks. I'm like, wow. And it's got this cool writing on top. It's in gold and red and black. I mean, what millennial kid wouldn't want these, you know? Yeah, do you have a cigarette? I need a Marlboro Black. And it's surprising. I got a pack of hundreds because they're lighter, you know, my lungs. It's a surprisingly good fucking cigarette. It tastes like a Marlboro. I'd say get the Marlboro 100 Blacks because they taste like regular Marlboros, but in a 100 form. It's a little bit, it's got that big, long fucking filter on it. They're selling like 22 millimeters too now. It's fucking weird. I need a short cigarette. But this is a really good cigarette. Yeah, they're doing it for the millennials. This is what my little girl comes over. Dad, I need a pack of Marlboro Blacks. Okay, baby, I'm going to the store. All the headbangers smoke fucking Marlboro Blacks. But it's a good cigarette. Does smoking weed though? I've heard that question before. Does it interfere with you getting high? Not really. It takes a lot of toxins out. Here's the thing that people don't realize. There are so many toxins in marijuana that are not even talked about. When you put a filter in your joint, you'll see it. Big gobs of black tar come up. No, it just filters out, you know, just like a cigarette, the toxins and shit like that. I put a tiny, tiny filter in, not a whole cigarette filter, just like a 5% of a filter. It doesn't seem to interrupt me getting high. But like, you know, once you start getting high 3 times a day, you can't get high anymore anyway. Now I just smoke it because it's fun. These Marlboro Blacks and it's a really good cigarette. And you open it, and it's constructed well. The box feels like heavy duty or something. And you got that cool black paper in there when you pull it out, which is a heavily textured paper. The box definitely is far more, it seems more well constructed than but I was surprised to see Dejarums. You know, these were always in a brown pack, soft pack, and they only had 10 in it. You know, these, I mean, it's hard to call these. I don't think you're supposed to inhale them either. But I've been smoking those since I was 14. I don't smoke them anymore because they're just cough to death and they're what for. Every now and again, like on Christmas, I'll light one up or something. I'll be smoking a clove cigarette. And that's like my equivalent to smoking a cigar or something. You know, I'll be smoking a clove cigarette. Somebody's like, what the fuck is that? What do you smoke? They taste and smell really good. They used to have like I said, you used to take your lip. This filters don't have that anymore. But you used to take your lips off it and you could taste honey, which was a really nice thing. But now everybody's, ooh, who's this bitch? Damn it. Mouth taping trend? Jesus Christ, why? You're a fucking hot bitch. You're so fucking hot. Oh, I pound your ass. Fucking bitch. I had a teacher tape my mouth once. It was funny. Cardiac arrest and people die. Well, that's what you get, retard. Why would you do that? Seriously, duct tape your mouth and shit? Back in my day, I was one of the last generation motherfuckers. I went to a lot of Catholic and Christian schools too. Because it saved I was a latchkey kid. My parents worked a lot. Or whatever they did. I want to fuck you too. And, I really want to fuck her though. Please, let me put my dick in you. And, yeah, and they still used to, back in, I remember the teachers I had would hit us. I would get hit by nuns. I'm like the last generation of motherfuckers. Like back in 1980s. That's what our teachers did. Come from a different era. So by the time I got to public high school, teachers could tape your mouth. They could put duct tape on you and nothing would happen. The one time I went home though, and I was that young. My mother was giving me a bath and she seen I had all these marks on my ass and she's like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "Sister Marcella fucking went crazy on my ass today." "What do you mean she went crazy on you?" With her taped up meter stick she had. My mother flipped shit. Went and told them, "I'll rip your fucking choke you to death with that habit if you touch my fucking boy again." Yeah. We used to get hit. They used to hit your hands, hit your ass, especially in Catholic school. We didn't learn anything about numbers. We didn't learn shit. We learned the differences between biblical demonology. We learned about biblical demonology. We learned about the serpent in the Garden of Eden, how he wasn't really Satan, or how he was compared to Lucifer, who was used as a reference in the Bible. How much like you are to that Satan. We learned the differences between Satan and the devil. We studied Old Testament, which kids just can't understand. And the story is so epic. And I would just daydream. I don't remember ever learning math. By the time I got to school, I didn't know a fucking thing. I didn't know my time. I still don't. My multiplication tables. I knew about Bible. And I knew about good pussy. I got a good pussy, though. Yeah, you do. You got the good puss. And that's what you knew. And that's what killed you the most.